Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching another edition of the LockerGnome TLDR. Gig news. Did anybody catch that? I don't think so, because I flubbed my lines. But this is live, so I'm not going to go back and edit it. You see the glow of my tablet beneath me? Isn't that nice? Maybe you can't see it. Can I start over again? Okay, let's pretend like I didn't do that whole thing. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching or listening to another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, Chris, why are you sweating? I thought it was like 50 degrees outside Fahrenheit. It is, and Diana turns on the heat. It's a game for her. She likes making me sweat. She turns it on at night and then forgets to turn it off in the morning, and then I think it's still off, and then when I come in here to do a video, you get to watch me sweat. So if there was a bonus to listening to me talk through TLDR, that would be it. There, I'm appeasing everybody. If you want to see me sweat, like apparently my wife does, you can watch TLDR on YouTube. If you only want to hear me without seeing me sweat, then you can listen to what it is that I have to say in the corresponding podcast published to SoundCloud, and of course available in your favorite podcasting client. I've got a bit of news to share with you today. Number one, it's Elmo's birthday. Happy birthday, Elmo. Yes, you know the Muppet. I did not grow up with Elmo. Elmo is younger than me. I'm not an Elmo fan necessarily. I know there are a lot of people who are. Not trying to take away from that. There are a lot of things you can get that are Elmo-esque if you grew up with Elmo. I have a feeling that Jedi is going to like Elmo, and at that point, I may get an Elmo coffee mug. Did you know they made an Elmo coffee mug? Yeah, they did. They have one, I think, that's also a Cookie Monster mug, too, which sounds like a lot of fun. You know, if you're going to eat coffee, have Cookie Monster on it. Why not? I'm not going to drink out of Elmo at this stage, though. But we've been sharing a lot of fun Elmo things that you might be able to get for yourself or potentially for an Elmo fan. We've got that posted on LockerGnome.com. Also, 25% off the Prep Pad Smart Food Scale and Nutrition Tracker, a gadget for your kitchen. We've got the Beats by Dre giveaway. You want it for free? I know some people think, well, that's what it should be in the first place. There you go. Here's a chance. You like Beats? You want Beats? It's a fashion statement. Here's a giveaway for you. Also, 79% off the iDrive 1TB hard drive and 10TB cloud backup bundle. So basically 79% off, that's almost 80%. Almost, not quite. We also have, for those of you who want to get started with drones, at 10% off, the Blade Pico Double Flip drone. Right there, deals.lockergnome.com again. And for those of you running OS X, if you're looking for an antivirus tool, Bitdefender's got one, a 6-month subscription free. Yes, viruses are on OS X. You can get a virus on OS X. It is possible. You want a subscription to an antivirus service, there's free 6 months for you. Or maybe you know someone who has OS X. It's worth you can use it. I'm flustered after that beginning. I'm not going to start over, though. Not going to do it. A 6-month subscription free to the antivirus service for OS X. The Moda smartphone battery case, 64% off. And we've also got Star Trek Red Shirt dog toy sets available. That's at LockerGnome.com in case you happen to be a dog owner, a Star Trek fan, and you understand what we're talking about when we say red shirt. Now, I'm wearing a red shirt today, too, but it's got Boba Fett on it. Different fandom, I know. I wore it because I wanted to. This message goes out to Richard Wooding, Diana, after we enjoyed the Bloody Lecker Biltong that you told us about. Diana decided to branch out and try this brand of biltong. And it's got peri peri, which is, I guess, is some kind of a spice or chili or something like that. So this is different. It's a different formula. I'm going to try it here. I love biltong, or at least the biltong from Bloody Lecker. It's just a little spicy. I just realized what this tastes like. Now, before I say what this tastes like, here, this brand or this whatever, I want to once again say that the biltong I had by Bloody Lecker has been the best kind of jerky in my entire life. This is almost the opposite. I'm going to go as far as to say, yeah, I am going to say it. It's like they soaked the jerky in pee. So why did I try another one? Just to make sure that it wasn't just me. It's not just me. This is like pea jerky. This is not the brand I'm going to recommend. Oh, at all. You want some pea jerky, Dad? Seriously, did they soak this in urine? No. It's beef. Definitely not what's for dinner. ARM says that the new A72, which is due out in phones next year, and when we say next year, 2016, don't expect it to show up in this year's series of phones, can use 75% less power while offering the same performance as today's chips. This is fantastic news, especially, as ARM is so prevalently used in the industry and the devices you use today. More than just a decrease in power consumption, they've also boosted graphics power and power really across the board. So this will translate as better devices outright if they're running on the ARM A72 platform that is supporting this particular chip. Good news if you're hoping that future phones would have better battery life, fewer or less power consumption, better battery life, better graphics processing power, better processing power in general, and would take up less space. So the A72 sounds like a gigantic win if you happen to be a fan of ARM processors or if some of your favorite devices are running on ARM processors or platforms in general. So Apple could very well be reaping the benefits of A72 if they choose to pick up on it. I can't imagine they wouldn't. Of course, make modifications as well. The A72 could also make it easier to process 4K video. And not just watch video, but to actually process it in such a way that it doesn't kill your device. Process it and potentially even record it. So I would expect that with something based on the A72 processor, we would see a lot more phones supporting 4K natively and not really damaging battery life at the same time. 4K from not just viewing, but specifically recording. 4K video right around the corner. And speaking of 4K video, it's not exactly 4K, but I was talking to my friend over at the company that makes my vlog camera modification with the big lens. They've got a mod now which is based on a camera that records 1080p video, which I know doesn't sound exciting, but it only does 1080p at 60 frames a second, which is exciting for me because for the longest time, I've been wanting to record vlogs at 60 frames per second rather than 30. Now, I know some people are stuck on 24. Call me a fan of 60 frames per second whenever I can get it. I have no problem with it. So pretty soon, as soon as I get that mod, I'm going to start recording the Pirillo Vlogs at 60 frames per second rather than 30. And you'll potentially see the difference if the screen you're viewing or whatever the output is supports 60 frames per second. It'll be more like real life, like you're really there. I mean, you're getting twice the amount of frames, so of course it's more fluid. It'll come in very, very handy as Jedi begins to move quicker, faster across the frames. And then, of course, I plan on, recording slow motion video with the iPhone, 240 frames per second, when she learns to walk, because then it'll be like, she's walking and then she falls potentially. No, Jedi's never gonna fall. She's gonna get up and she's gonna start walking. That's just, I'm fairly confident that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I can't back that up. I cannot get this taste of pee out of my mouth. Han? Lesson learned. Do not try new jerky at the beginning of a broadcast. Microsoft has more than 100 iOS and Android apps. Over 100. Microsoft is a cross-platform player, and I think that is a good number to be at. It's a great place for Microsoft to be. I certainly have some Microsoft apps installed on my phone. Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I don't use them all that often, but they're there for compatibility reasons in case I run into an issue. I've got them. They're free for all intents and purposes, so why not? Yeah, why not? So Microsoft is I think they're doing a good job. The question I have, much like I've discussed before, is it too little too late? What Microsoft services do you need? Apart from something that might be tied into, let's say, a game console, the Xbox, what Microsoft services can you not live without? You may have to start asking yourself that question because it may keep you, just if you believe that only Microsoft can provide those experiences, that's fine because it's got those experiences on a multitude of platforms. It's not just Microsoft's platforms that can deliver the best or world-class Microsoft experiences, you could now use Android or iOS, potentially, if the app is supported on those platforms. Still building the collaboration with Ocho, if you've submitted your video that way. And then if you're a patron of mine, I'm looking for video testimonials. We want to wrap into a patron reboot. Patreon, I know, is consistently updating their services. We throw a ton of bonuses out to patrons every single day. But I want to do more. And part of that is actually putting you as a part of the next video we do, really the second video we do about a year after we launched the Patreon campaign, which I would say I'm very, very happy with. I hope everybody is also very happy with the CPU videos that we're doing. These are edited videos that are being produced in the classic YouTube channel. Very short form. Videos I do here are long form, very talky. Of course, geeky topics. This is Geek Lifestyles. But Chris Pirillo, that classic YouTube channel, LockerGnome, is right now, it's pretty much just going to be short form, entertaining video content on a topic that I care to cover. Some of them are going to be product based. Others may be a bit more tips based. If I have certain thoughts on a topic, then I believe it would lend itself to editing. Those videos are going to be going into that channel. So I hope you're enjoying CPU if you're watching it, and I really do encourage you to do that. AP, the Associated Press. Just press. AP, robot journalists, are now writing their own stories. They do thousands of automated stories. So a story that you're reading as created by AP, and I use that term loosely, it could have been created by a robot. So that story that looks like it was written by a human being wasn't necessarily. That, to me, is the future of journalism. Now, I'm not talking about investigative journalism and hard-hitting stories, but, the only way of really, truly removing bias is removing human, period. So if you're looking for non-biased stories and you're just looking for the facts, it seems like the AP's robots may best serve you. I wouldn't mind getting news from a robot at all. I don't. I wouldn't. Would you? That's as if it was good. Well, it's just the facts. How good can you expect them to be? They're just facts. They're not going to be good or bad. They're just, they are what they are. Now, I would not want a robot to share opinions. I don't think a robot is there for opinions. But I really like that idea as the future of reporting news. Robots. I'm a fan. I like robots in general. And certainly to remove bias, it seems like the best way. But I will say that if I was looking for advice or guidance, looking for help, I would not turn to a robot. I'd turn to a human being for an opinion. I want a human being's biased. I did it again. A human being's bias. Every human being's bias. That's when I wanted to say biased, and I didn't. You know what? My mouth is biased against pea-tasting jerky. Kind of wish I had water in this cup. Not just because Michael Hookinson sent it to me. I just received it, Michael. He says, thank you for all the joy you bring your nomies. From Michael Hookinson. You're all my nomies. If you're listening or watching, you're my nomie. Thank you. One of my nomies. I did not have this Darth Vader tumbler. That's awesome. I love it. And the beauty is, with this tumbler, if I'm not mistaken, that particular Darth Vader face that you see there is in between two panes of this plastic. And you can also see Darth Vader standing up with his lightsaber on the inside. Wonderful tumbler. I love this. These are my super nomies. My super nomies are my patrons. All of you. Every single one of you are my nomies. In fact, I've been thinking about using the reboot of the LockerGnome app as just calling it nomies. You're all my nomies. Because everyone will be able to get the nomies app. Super nomies get bonuses, but if you're all my nomies, and so I can think of no better way of explaining that, nomies, than that way. Nomies. You're all my nomies. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. I had this on my wish list. I just added it, as a matter of fact. And now I am about to add it to my shelf. No, I don't want it on that shelf. I want it on another shelf. I want it on that shelf. There we go. No, there we go. Okay. It is now officially on a shelf. Bickety bam. You can watch it in a Pirillo vlog or the next home office tour. This year's has already been posted for everybody to watch, too. So that was cool. Thank you, Michael. Love it. Love it. I'll have to... actually, I shouldn't put it on the shelf. I'm taking it back because I need to feature it in the vlog as well. It's nice because I feel like as much as I might be a part of your life, when you do things like this, I know you give me a gift of time. Thank you for that. But when I receive a gift like this, it means even more because this workshop isn't just me. It's me and the things that I love, surrounded by things that I love, given to me by people who might love me and who I return love back. Not because they gave me anything more than their time, though. I do love you and I do appreciate you. I do my best to say that every day. Germans, your government, congratulations. This is kind of neat. It's running a Battlestar Galactica game to educate aspiring diplomats. So cool. I would only imagine a world that was like Battlestar Galactica. That's a series of shows, of course, that I would recommend for anybody to binge watch. Although, be warned, it's like the episode of Portlandia, where they first sat down and started to watch Battlestar on DVD. I binged on Netflix, I think, and I think it's still available there. The Battlestar Galactica reboot. I'm not talking about the original Battlestar Galactica television series. I liked it a lot. I liked the reboot. Now there's an example of a good reboot. I talked about the Ghostbusters movie reboot yesterday. Today I talked about an Indiana Jones reboot. I didn't mind the Battlestar Galactica reboot at all. Some people did, but I think that was, attenuated by what I believe was a very, very, very good series of shows. A very good storyline, amazing characters in the new Battlestar Galactica. So you gotta check that out. If you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, if you live in Germany, maybe you don't live in Germany, you don't speak German, but you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, it's kind of neat. Kind of wish they'd do something like that in more places. McDonald's, and they did this at the Super Bowl, but I caught this news before the Super Bowl. They're letting you pay for your meal randomly by taking a selfie or calling your mom or doing some kind of love action. It's interesting. That they would do that as a form of payment randomly, at least until, I think, the 14th. It's a short-term engagement. But it's just, I like that idea. It's a little cheesy, but not to be confused with Mayor McCheesy. I think that having appreciation for your customers and showing them that way, I think just doing it randomly is a good idea. I like that. It's one of the reasons why I do my best to say that I appreciate you at somewhat random times, but certainly I make a point to do it every day because I think people need to be reminded that they are appreciated. Yes? Thank you. My dad is bringing a cup of water, as I call it, the liquid that will eliminate the pee taste from my mouth. By the way, not that I know what pee tastes like. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm just saying that if I ever tasted pee, and I have not, that's probably what it would taste like if it was soaked, or the beef jerky was soaked in it. The best cup of water I've ever had in my entire life. Google now supports third-party apps like eBay. So you've got all these connected accounts and services. It makes sense that if you trust Google and you trust those third-party services, they're sharing data on the back end that you're looking for. You're looking for information. I use Google not necessarily in that capacity, but for example, if I'm looking for a tracking number on a package, I just search for the tracking number. It pops right up. If I'm looking for a phone number, I stopped using Siri, not because it sucks. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm just... Siri always frustrates me. I've yet to really be blown away by it. But I use the Google app on iOS when I'm looking for a phone number for something because I know it's just going to work out right. And very rarely does it disappoint me. Very rarely. So it's nice to see Google now supporting third-party apps and extending its power and potential, not just on Android, but any platform that supports Google now. Windows 10. You thought we were done talking about that? No. Coming to Raspberry Pi 2, developers can use it for free, which is nice to know. And I was originally just going to talk about the Raspberry Pi 2 coming in at the $35 price point. Everything that came with the first Raspberry Pi is still intact. The new Model 2 is going to be packing a quad-core ARM processor with a gig of RAM, so they just basically made it better for the same price. If you're a fan of Windows, or you want Windows to survive and succeed, and you're a fan of Raspberry Pi, and you're a developer, this sounds like an amazing combination. Microsoft made the absolute rice move, the right move too. Not only for rice lovers, maybe you don't love rice, I don't know where rice came from. It was the right move. Windows 10, Raspberry Pi, free for developers to use Windows 10 on Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is not free, it's just $35. Amazing announcements around Raspberry Pi and Windows 10 in conjunction. There's something that's not exactly a crowdfunding project, at least to my knowledge. Something called Lego X, not to be confused with Lego or Lego Group. Lego X. It's basically like 3D printing in reverse. And they've shown working prototypes of this. Since I'm not licensed to play back the video, let me see if I can explain it. Well, first of all, check out the links in the video or the podcast description. Or just, search for it. Lego space X. So imagine you got these Lego bricks. Or Lego compatible bricks. Like Duplo blocks. What you can do, the blocks have something in them that's kind of like a hack. So that they're registered with the system. And you can build something with the Lego bricks. And then through software and some kind of connection, that model that you have in 3D space shows up live and in real time on something like an iPad. So you're building blocks in 3D space and suddenly it's a 3D model. So it's like in reverse. You've built something with physical blocks, physical bricks, that can be turned into a 3D model. So cool. I mean, at least the prototype that we saw, it didn't look like an animation, didn't look like a proof of concept. Maybe it's early beta, but they're moving forward with this idea of Lego X. Not the Lego Group. This is not Lego. It's using Lego blocks or Lego compatible bricks to make something like that happen. So there you are. You got these bricks. You build something. You're like, man, I wish I had a 3D model of that. You can, and it's aware. Like if you pick up that model, let's say this is, imagine this is a construction of Lego bricks, right? And you spin it around on the screen. It's spinning around like the same way in virtual space when you're holding onto it in physical space. So it's a way to better model. If you're not a 3D designer, but you know how to manipulate bricks, it's the best of both worlds. That seemed very, very exciting. I'd be on the fence about backing that kind of crowdfunding project, if only because I've been burned with a lot of tech crowdfunding. It would be exciting, and I'd be interested in possibly backing it, but I'd absolutely be giddy at the idea. I am giddy with the idea of being able to do something like that. As someone who likes the brick and is not much of a 3D designer at all in any way with any software. So Lego X, you got to check that out. I watched the video. I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Lollipop. Here's news if you happen to love Lollipop or want Lollipop as I take a sip. Oh, of water. Thank you, Dad. Oh, thank you. That was... I needed that so badly. Lollipop finally makes a blip on the radar. Makes up to 1.6% of the Android install base. So it's been out for a while now. Android 5.0. 1.6% of the Android install base at this point. That's not a lot. For being around as long as it have, it's not a lot, but it's kind of the nature of the beast. And this comes from Android directly, or Google directly, developer.android.com. It finally showed up on the charts at 1.6%. This is not big news. It's good to know that they have 1.6. It's better than 1. I don't expect it to climb, for the next, 4 years. I mean, at a rapid pace. It's the nature of Android and how it works. Microsoft's had the same problem with Windows and Windows versions being all over the map. It's how they handle licensing. So I don't think this is a detriment necessarily to every other Android user, a person who's running Android on a platform or a piece of hardware, because Google has abstracted a lot of the value of Android in Google Play services and updates to apps independent of the base operating system platform itself being updated. So some people would be reveling in that, schadenfreude. I don't believe in it. I wish it would have been a higher percentage, but I understand why it's not as high a percentage. And it could be in some cases related to the dip of Samsung after the last couple of quarters not picking up Lollipop, at least with recent Samsung Galaxy devices. Could have something to do with it. I expect that increasing OS fragmentation will continue to happen with Android. It's the nature of the beast. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying you got to expect it. But I was really kind of surprised it was that low, but at the same time, not really surprised. Surprised, not surprised. Speaking of Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are paying, all three, and likely others, to get around ad block. So have you been paying for ad block? Have you been paying a company to block ads? Well, shame on you, for one. because you're destroying the whole value of the chain. One of the reasons why I've had to turn to people like my super nomies, my patrons, is because so many people do block ads, and they do it without caring. They just don't care. They do it and you don't care. So I'm kind of laughing. I'm like, this is me going, well, shame on you. What do you expect? Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are paying to get around ad block. So there you go. You paid for ad block plus, only to find out that the ads that you paid to block, the companies that are running those ads are paying so that the app that you paid for to block those ads aren't blocking the ads. You deserve to have wasted your money. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. You block ads. That's exactly where you belong. You people drive me nuts. So I'm not saying that it's not okay to block ads in general. I think it's okay to block pop-ups because those are annoying. No doubt about it. But when you block ads outright, you hurt content creators that you possibly love. And if you're doing that and you're hurting the creators you love, you're not doing them any favors. Now, I'm gonna take a step sideways, and I'm gonna say if you do run ad block, but you do support those content creators in other ways, aka you've become a patron, a super nomie, some other way, you've crowdfunded something they've done, I'm not talking about you. If you selectively ad block, I'm not talking about you, because you may say, well, I like Chris Pirillo, I'm not gonna block his ads. That's fine if you do that for all the people that you love. I'm talking about the people who just press a button and then think they're blocking everything. I don't respect that decision at all. At all. So, if you wasted money on AdBlock Plus, what'd you expect? They have a lot more money than you do. And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Not block ads? Sure, go ahead. Don't block. That'll show them. You should not block ads anymore. That'll show Google. Don't block ads anymore. I don't know what to say about that. I know I upset people no matter what I do about that, but that's my opinion. You can have a different opinion, but I made it very clear. And you may have to rewind the video to listen to me rather than the voice inside your head. I was very clear about my position on it and where I think there are exceptions to the rule. But you have to make exceptions to that rule. You can't just blanket block outright, because then you're hurting people that you allegedly support. I don't consider a viewer of mine who blocks ads a supporter at all. Not even in the slightest. I don't want them around. They're useless to me. I don't care. They don't care about me. I don't care about them. And that's exactly what you're saying to someone who might use ads to help pay and support a team. This is what I try to do on a regular basis. I've got several people that I have on my team. We're working on Gnome Decks, which is a YouTuber event for geeks and nerds that we're going to be producing for 2015. Can't do that alone. We edit videos on a regular basis. I've got the patron hangout here real soon. We do a lot for you. And ads, certainly. I know that some people don't like them, but I'm just saying. I try to figure out a way around the system. We made it such that patrons don't always have to see ads. We publish things in such a way that they get things as much as possible without ads. I know they're not convenient for everybody, but you got to understand it's a circle of life with the content you support and how you choose to support it. When you break that circle, when you break that chain, you hurt yourself indirectly. You may feel like you're getting away with it, but you're hurting yourself indirectly, because what you're causing people to do is have to change. They have to change. You're forcing them to change. By breaking the circle, you force them to change. And I can think of no other exceptions than two blogs that I've been following for a while, one more than another. AOL owned what used to be Weblogs Inc., TUAW, the unofficial Apple weblog, which was one of my favorites back in the day, and Joystick. They're shutting down. They're done. Like they're closing. They can't do it anymore. The web publishing model has changed. And I'm not saying that AdBlock brought them to that, but it was a precursor. When models change, you are forced to adapt, and you got to figure out how you're going to adapt. And I can't explain that any more clearly, that people constantly have to change their business model, especially with content publishing. So I'm very, very sad to see TUAW go away. Very, very sad. Because it used to be my favorite. It used to be. People have to change. And when you force that change upon them, it doesn't make it any easier to come to those decisions. So who am I to argue? I wish I could keep TUAW around, but it's expensive. It ain't free. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's free all the time. I try to make as much free as I possibly can. This video was free. It really was. Patrons got to see it without ads live. Everybody else, well, you got it. Congratulations. And thank you. As I said earlier, I do appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video with another gift we received, a handmade gift right here. Got this note card. Hello, Chris. I have made you by hand 5 Star Wars characters and Baby Jedi. I made these figures out of polymer clay and glossed them. I hope you like them and wish the best for you and your family. Loved, Aaliyah Bosch. And I think I said your name right. I'll be showing these in the vlog as well. Look at this bow. Hun! Look at this bow! It's like an award here. And another bow with hearts. Jedi could use this on Valentine's Day. Although this may be a little big for her at this point. She'd certainly want to wear them when she's older. So let's bust into these figures here.
Her bow?
Yeah, she got 3 bows from Aaliyah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Not very geeky, but I'm getting to that point.
The heart one.
This is from Josh. Josh is Aaliyah's father. And Josh now has his own coin, IO coin. It is the IO digital currency. He's the project manager. Oh, well, he included this, so I'm just showing you. This is his phone number, address, and everything. So, Josh, if you didn't want me to show it on a video, you should never send it. Don't ever send anything to me if you don't want it to be in video. All right, here we go. Some custom Star Wars figures. I'm very, very excited to see these. Oh, cool. Polymer clay. Gloss polymer clay. Whoa! Hun, check this out. I love this. Because you can't get this kind of thing in stores. Here we have Princess Leia. Right there. Love it, love it. Homemade. We have Baby Jedi. The day she came home, I'm imagining. Because look, she's got, is that, this is her mouth. Yeah, is that a heart? Oh, it looked like a heart kind of from there. A bow, Yoda ears, and a blue blanket right there. Baby Jedi. So cute. Luke Skywalker. She's got a future in this. You should be on Etsy, Aaliyah. R2-D2. Oh, dude, this is totally going into social. I've got it. I can't wait to vlog this. Queen Amidala. A very large Queen Amidala. Right there. This one's a much, much larger. She did a lot of work. Wow, you've got a future. You have got a huge future. And my favorite, Darth Vader. I like this kind of stuff. Homemade, crafty, and of course, it's Darth Vader. Look at his little cute little lightsaber. Thank you so much. What a great way to end a video. And I'll be vlogging these in the vlog that we're recording today. So thank you so much, Aaliyah. And of course, thank you to Aaliyah's father, Josh, for all of your support. I do have to scoot off to do our patron hangout at this point, but thank you so much again for your time and attention. And hopefully you've listened to more than one thing that I've said over more than the course of one day, because I know I can get under people's skin, but it's what I do. It's just one of the things that I do. And I do apologize if you happen to like this biltong. I do not. Diana, she can have the rest. Are you sure you don't want to try it, Dad?
I don't want to try it. If you don't like it, I'm sure I will.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.